So the G-Wagon was always designed for the military. Then it became available for the civilian audience. And finally it became the symbol of luxury for the rich and famous. But if there was one variant which combined all these three, the military genetics, the civilian demands, and adding a lot of luxury in the interiors, then that variant would be the 350 diesel. Last year when I did the G63 AMG review, I had said this. In India, I think around 2011, the G55 AMG had been launched for 1.1 crore. So in 8 years, the G63 AMG cost almost double. So I genuinely think the price is a big negative for the G63 AMG in India. And for that, Mercedes probably, they know about it and they want it to remain exclusive. But my urge and my request to Mercedes would be if they can launch the G350 diesel in India. So here we are with the G350 diesel. This is the very first time Mercedes India have introduced a diesel variant for the G-Wagon. And it is a much more affordable variant compared to the G63 AMG. I say that for a reason, you know. A similarly spec'd diesel 350 variant in the UK is priced around 100,000 pounds. That when converted to INR is approximately 95 lakh rupees. So at 1.5 crore ex-showroom for a completely built unit, an imported one, Mercedes India have priced the diesel aggressively. So now that's done, let's focus on the most important factor you would buy a G-Wagon for, and that is the driving experience. So the engine first, the OM656, that is what this is. It is the first time Mercedes, in fact not the first time, with the OM656 they brought back the straight 6-cylinder arrangement. And let me be honest with you, this feels ample sufficient in day-to-day runs. But we'll get to the practicality part later on. More about the specifications. So 600 Nm, that is sufficiently usable. And the torque from as low as 1200 RPM goes up to 3600, 3500 RPM flawlessly. And for a car the size of G-Wagon, the way this thing moves, even in a non-AMG variant, it is commendable. Those who have driven the G63 AMG version know how scary that feels. Handling that amount of power in this kind of an arrangement. What this diesel variant does is actually gives it a much more confidence-inspiring feel, at the same time not feeling underpowered in any situation. And that is something which you would really enjoy. So yes, to deliver all this power, you have a 9G-tronic 9-speed gearbox, which is at all the times splitting the torque 40% at the front, 60% to the rear. So yes, it is rear biased, this one as well, just like the AMG variant. Yes, so all in all, the 350 diesel has ample performance to keep the G-Wagon thrilling, at the same time be comfortable. Just one question though, why did Mercedes not offer the 400D in the G-Wagon? So some of you had dropped in a couple of messages to me that they wanted to hear the G350 diesel's exhaust note, and while wanting to film that, I was on the lookout for exhaust tips on the G-Wagon in this diesel variant, and unfortunately they are nowhere to be seen. It's absolutely not visible anywhere, nor at the rear, nor at the side. So upon further inspection, I found they were actually hidden. The muffler is hidden at the side. So Mercedes purposely have not given the side exit exhaust on the G350D, probably wanting to preserve the uniqueness factor of the side exhaust in the G63. So those of you who wanted to hear the exhaust note on the run for this diesel, here's a small clip for you. A quick word about the suspension and the handling. So Mercedes have now installed an independent front suspension. The rear is still the rigid solid axle. So overall, this has worked wonders for the ride as well as the handling dynamics, and it definitely is much more controllable. You know, even in the G63 I had said the same point, and I repeat here. So definitely this has worked wonders for the driving dynamics of this generation of the G-Wagon. But we all have to remember that the G-Wagon is still a body on frame, typical old school SUV. So keep that in mind before you venture out any sort of adventurism out on the highways or on the twisties. So that has to be always in your backdrop. However, the same chassis will be helpful in the off-road conditions, and this has 3 locking differentials, as we are aware, and a good amount of off-road gadgetry. And not only that, these pictorial representations of the car's off-road capability are really encouraging. Unfortunately, again, we are in the unlock 2.0 mode, and we can't really venture out looking out for trails and go take this G-Wagon off-road. Not only that, this G-Wagon is actually equipped with the Pirelli Scorpion Zero tires and not off-road tires. So that is slightly also not encouraging venturing out off-road, particularly if you are going to attempt anything serious. Right, so I picked 5 different reasons why you should pick the G350D variant over the G63 AMG variant. And the first reason to start off this conversation is this. Ask any SUV enthusiast which fuel they prefer in their SUVs. They would say the diesel. Likewise, I personally prefer the G350D, the diesel variant, versus the petrol variant in any SUV, and similarly so in the G-Wagon. Not only that, the G63 AMG has V8 that everyone knows. But did you know that while you're cruising in your G63 AMG, it has cylinder deactivation technology? So what that means is while you're cruising, that runs on only 4 cylinders and other 4 cylinders are shut off. Whereas in the diesel, there is no cylinder deactivation technology. You are always firing all those 6 cylinders what you paid for. The ride quality. So well, the G63 AMG has 22-inch rim setup. I believe I remember the tires were 295 40 profiles R22s, whereas in this you get 275 50 R20s. So that definitely is cushioning more. Other than that, to handle that extra power in the G63 AMG, the suspension seems tuned for handling, and whereas this suspension definitely feels much more comfortable. So definitely this is an added advantage if you pick the G350 diesel. So the added advantage of the diesel engine is the long range cruising ability. Compare that to a G63 AMG V8 engine. So well, you will be doing making considerably much more fuel stops on a long distance road trip or a highway run. And in India, finding the perfect fuel, high octane fuel or a good quality fuel on the highways in the rural areas is absolutely an impossible task. So compare that to the diesel, the fuel quality will be the least of your worries. An important factor why one would consider the G-Wagon is definitely the looks, the authoritative stance and the overall road presence, which you retain anyway with the G350D variant. And this variant is very well spec'd, and I believe this is the AMG line kit, and you do get AMG alloys as well. Other than that, the interiors also really feel as special as they were in the G63 AMG variant. Just the carbon fiber trim is missing, and the steering wheel is the non-AMG steering wheel. But you do get the Burmester audio system, you do get a good amount of aluminum all over, and definitely amazing build quality which has been retained irrespective of the variant in the G-Wagon lineup. And finally, the most important point, the pricing. So this variant is 70 lakh rupees cheaper than the G63 AMG variant. For any person who is very rich or moderately rich or just about rich, 70 lakhs is a big sum of money. That's like throwing an E-class into an equation. To put it in a different perspective, this variant is 30% cheaper than the G63 AMG variant, and it does a great job, I believe, in bridging the little gap of that affordability for the people who desire, and at the same time keeping with this spec and the overall package and the 350D engine, and overall keeping the desirability quotient high. So Mercedes understands the positioning of the G-Wagon as a status symbol, not even in India but globally, and hence it wants to keep the product positioning very high. And even though the G350 diesel is a cheaper alternative to the G63 AMG, it is still not quite affordable. Though I know that these are made only in Austria and imported from there. But I hope that one day Mercedes India's factory is so capable that they are able to get CKD kits down from Austria and assemble one of these out here in India. And on that hopeful note, thanks for watching.